I'm being abused by my husband. That's what my sister-in-law Holly said when she came to our house. Uh,
She ended up staying for over 3 months, doing nothing all day but lazing around, not even helping with the chores. And my husband, Matt, he's more concerned about Holly than his own daughter. When I suggested that Holly could help out a bit with the housework, she retorted, "If you have a problem with it, you can leave." I shot back, "You know, this house is rented in my father's name."
The next thing I knew, there was a searing pain across my cheek.
I couldn't believe he hit me. Well, if that's what he wants, I'll leave. My name is Mary. I'm a 34-year-old office worker. Currently, I live in an apartment somewhere in the Kanto region with my husband, Matt, also an office worker, and our first-grade daughter, Maya. I don't really have any major complaints about our current life. Sure, juggling work, housework, and parenting is a bit tough. After finishing work, I cook dinner for the whole family, do the laundry, kitchens, and on days Maya has piano lessons. I also handle the drop-off and pick-up. It's quite demanding, and Matt doesn't help much with household chores or parenting. Well, I guess this level of complaint of something most wives have to some extent. There's no significant in-law trouble since we live apart, and Matt's parents are sensible and well-grounded people. My life is quite peaceful, despite being a bit busy. Then one day, our doorbell suddenly rang.
Coming.
When I went to check, there stood Matt's sister, Holly. "Holly, what's going on?" I asked. With a troubled look, Holly replied, "Is my brother here?"
Holly, what brings you here all of a sudden?
Holly burst into tears and said, "Brother, I've run away from Jack." "I've run away from Jack?"
What? Run away? What do you mean?
I guess Holly's husband's name. They had married about a year ago and were supposed to be living in the Kinky region.
I started experiencing domestic violence from Jack right after we got married. And
Domestic violence?
Matt exclaimed in shock. I was surprised too. I had only met Jack once at their wedding. He seemed kind and serious then, and I never would have thought he was capable of such violence against his wife.
Holly, is it true you're being abused by Jack?
it's true, he was kind before we got married, but as soon as we did, he started being violent.
He says I've endured it for a year, but it never got better. I was always getting hit. I've reached my limit, so I ran away from Jack. I'm thinking of divorcing him. But I'm struggling to find a place to stay until the divorce is finalized. Can I stay here for a while? As Holly spoke through her tears, my husband said, of course you can stay. Mary, that's okay, right?"
Yes, it's okay. You've been through a lot.
I sympathized with Holly, who had been a victim of domestic violence, so I agreed.
By the way, have you talked to your parents about the domestic violence and your thoughts on getting a divorce?
Holly responded, "I haven't told my parents yet. I don't want to worry them unnecessarily. I'll tell them once the divorce is official. Until then, I'd like both you, Mary, and my brother to keep it a secret." And so my sister-in-law came to live with us, marking the beginning of a tumultuous period. Firstly, the sudden addition of another person in the house meant more food and laundry and extra expenses. Since Holly had been a homemaker and didn't have a regular job, she couldn't contribute to our household expenses. If only she would help with house cleaning, shopping, or meal preparations while we were at work, but she did none of that. She just lounged around all day. At first, I didn't say anything, thinking she must be hurt from the domestic violence, but after a month, I really started to feel it complaining. One night, I asked Holly, how about the divorce proceedings with Jack? Aren't they finished yet?
Oh, Jack doesn't agree with me. It's a bit complicated.
I see. Holly, once you're divorced, you'll have to live on your own, right? Shouldn't you start looking for a job and a new place to live now? You can't stay with us forever.
What are you saying, Mary? Do you want me to leave soon? To leave soon.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm just suggesting that if you're staying here, maybe you could help out a little with the household chores.
Biswa, why should I have to help with the chores? I'm going through a lot and hurt. Please leave me alone.
The conversation didn't go well, and the next day, my husband confronted me.
May, I heard you told Holly to leave our house soon.
I didn't say that. I just suggested she should start looking for a new place and a job, considering the future.
Additionally, with an extra person in the house, preparing meals and doing laundry takes more time and effort, so I'd like some help. You should talk to her too, or are you going to take Maya to her piano lessons?
Oh, why do I have to do it? I have a job, you know.
I have a job too, you know.
I can, Mia to and from piano has always been your job, Mary.
At people anyway, don't be too hard on Holly. I'm tired, I'm going to bed. With that, Matt left the room. Then Maya, who seemed to have overheard our conversation, came to me looking worried.
Should I quit piano?
What? Why all of a sudden? You always seem to enjoy it.
Yeah, but the pickup and drop off are tough, right? I don't want mom and dad to fight because of my piano lessons.
For the time being, I told her, don't worry about that. Keep going to your piano lessons. But at the same time, I thought to myself, don't make our daughter feel like she has to worry about this. Directed at my husband. Indeed, when we first greeted Matt and Holly's parents, they said, we both worked and couldn't give much attention to the kids, so they'd always played together. That's why they are closer than most. I'm sister. But I think it's too much that he cares so much about his sister that he'd make our daughter consider quitting her piano lessons. About 2 months after Holly came to our house during dinner, Matt said, I'm going shopping with Holly tomorrow. Hearing that, I said, what? Tomorrow is Maya's school play, remember?
Can't help it. Holly insists on going shopping tomorrow. There's a limited edition cosmetic release tomorrow. I really want it. So, I'm going.
Yeah, and I want to go too. Why does it matter if it's tomorrow? Tomorrow, boy.
Why do you prioritize Holly's needs over Maya's? We had planned Maya's schedule first. Who is more important to you, your daughter or your sister?
Such a nice event is your job, isn't it? You're gonna tape photos and videos, right? We can just watch those later.
She's unable to bear our argument. Maya finally asked directly, how long is Aunt Holly planning to stay with us? Hearing this, Holly burst into tears, saying not only Mary, but now Mayette too treats me like a nuisance. Then, to my astonishment, Matt angrily said, "Aunt Holly is hurt and you say such things? That's too cruel. Apologize." Perhaps frightened by this, Mia, with a trembling voice, said, "I'm sorry." But since then, she seemed to lose her spirit. Maybe she was fed up with her father's lack of participation in school events, or perhaps she was scared of his anger. I thought this couldn't go on. It's been 2 months already, and I haven't heard anything about Holly's divorce proceedings progressing. What's going on? I decided to do a little digging. Then one Saturday, about 3 months after Holly started living with us, I said to her as she was lounging around the house, not looking for a new home or doing any chores, "I am going to start making dinner, so Holly, please help out. Maya, you too."
Gia obediently said, "Okay," but Holly protested, "Why do I have to help?" and refused to move.
It was really frustrating. I said, "You're living in our house, so you should at least help out a little. Come on."
Saying that, I tried to pull Holly's hand to take her to the kitchen, but she resisted, and we ended up in a bit of a scuffle.
Hearing the commotion, Matt came out of his room.
Immediately, Holly complained, "Brother, Mary is bullying me."
Upon hearing this, my husband shouted, I was like, I tell you, poor Holly, the thatch stuff.
"If you keep treating Holly like an intruder, I can't stand it anymore. Leave this house right now," I shouted.
"Steve, but this apartment is rented under my father's name," I retorted.
As soon as I said that, I felt a sharp pain on my cheek. What? No way. Did I just get hit, and with a fist? I can't believe it. I had never been hit before. "Watching me get hit?" Maya uttered in a worried voice. "Moms, I could taste iron in my mouth. It seemed I had been hit hard enough to cut the inside of my mouth." Unsure as I savored that taste, I could no longer forgive Matt and Holly. I shouted, "I can't stand it. That's my line. I can't bear living with someone who values his sister more than his own daughter."
Heard of this, my husband laughed and said, then leave, I told you that just now.
Holly also laughed, "Exactly, this might be your father's place or whatever, but don't get too carried away."
Realizing arguing was futile, I said, "Fine, I'll leave, but you both will regret this." With that, I took Maya and left the house right then. We went to my parents' house in the neighboring county. When I told my parents what happened, they were furious. My father immediately canceled the apartment lease. Now those two no longer had the right to live there. I told my parents, who wanted to talk to Matt, "I can handle this myself. I haven't been doing nothing these past 3 months," and asked them to just take care of Mia. The next day, I went to the hospital and got a medical report for the injuries from the assault. Then, with a lawyer and another man, I went to the apartment where Matt and Holly were staying. I had let the lawyer and the other man hide for a moment while I rang the doorbell. Holly answered the door. I could see inside the house. It was a mess, surprisingly so, for just 2 days. I could see inside the house. It was a mess, surprisingly so, for just 2 days.
"Oh, why'd you come back?"
I replied to her,
You canceled this room 2 days ago. He said, why are you guys even living here? I canceled this room 2 days ago. It was like year and,
"Oh, what us?"
hearing my voice. Matt also came out. I talked to Dad and had him cancel this room on the spot. You better pack up your things quickly, 'cause the landlord says he'll sue you for squatting if you're not out by today. Matt, bewildered, stammers, "Hey, wait!" I then called over the lawyer who was lurking nearby. I said to Matt, "You were getting a divorce. This guy's a lawyer and all the paperwork's done. So all you need to do is sign and stamp this." Stick handing him the divorce papers. "Divorce?" Matt exclaimed. Instant to which I replied, "Why are you surprised? No clue why you'd be divorced? That can't be true, right?" Walking into the house, I pulled out the surveillance cameras I had strategically placed. These cameras have got everything. From how you never cared about me or Mia, to Holly slacking off and not doing chores, even you hitting me.
Cameras, when did you set those up?
About a month ago, when I started thinking about divorce, I did some research online and talked to a lawyer. They advised that having video evidence makes it easier to get alimony, so I set them up. And this is a medical report of the injuries from when you hit me. With all this evidence, I should be able to get a substantial amount in alimony.
Mori,
My big brother has done so much for me. It's cruel to demand alimony from him. You know,
Referring to her, I retorted, "Holly, maybe you should worry more about yourself than your brother. Come out, please." Out I shout towards the hiding spot. The other person I brought along, besides the lawyer. Being who it was, Holly turned pale. Jack.
Dad.
Yes, the person who appeared was Holly's husband, Jack. Jack shouts at Holly,
And that's the new egg. Read you. What domestic violence you cheating woman? So you cheating woman just pay the alimony.
But that's like I want to pay, but I can't. I can't being stay-at-home wife and all.
oh what, cheating?
I explain that the story about Holly running away from DV was a lie. The truth is, she cheated, and Jack wanted a divorce, demanding a hefty alimony. She didn't want to pay, so she ran to our house.
How is that the case?
At visibly shocked, listens as I say, "Yeah, I thought it was strange. Over 2 months and not a peep about the divorce. And she should have turned to her parents before her brother for help." Over 2 months and not a peep about the divorce. And she should have turned to her parents before her brother for help. That's why I hired a private investigator about a month ago to look into it. And what a shock. She was having an affair. He says, and the guy's married too. Right? A double affair. What was she thinking? Of course, she couldn't tell her parents. They are serious folks. They'd be furious if they knew about the affair and the alimony, and they wouldn't tolerate a lazy lifestyle like ours. Well, I've already contacted her parents about Holly's divorce, and mine and Matt's too.
You told Dad and Mom.
Of course. Your in-laws were absolutely livid as expected.
But they said, "Come back home right now." So both of you, why not pack your things and go home? Still trembling, Holly insists, "I can go to his place." His place, as in your affair partner, think he'd welcome you into his home, being a married man. Also, our lawyer has already informed him about you. Holly, you lied about being single. He was shocked to find out you're married. He's quite upset. Here, a letter from your affair partner.
The lawyer hands her an envelope.
Tasting it, Holly collapses. Curious, I read the letter dropped from her hand, which read, "I can't forgive you for lying about being single. I was clear about being married. This was just a fling. For me, my wife is my priority. Let's break up now. Don't contact me again."
Dumped, huh? Poor Holly. Well, it's none of my business. Now you sign the divorce papers.
I say to a dazed Matt, who snaps back to reality and pleads, "I was wrong. I'll take better care of you and Mia, just not divorce." But I coldly cut him off. A man who values his sister more than his daughter is not a father in her eyes. Just sign the divorce papers. If I divorced Matt, of course, I demanded a hefty alimony. He'll have to work harder than ever, but I have no intention of forgiving him, so he better work hard. Holly also divorced Jack and started working at a company owned by her father-in-law's acquaintance to pay the alimony. Holly, who had been a housewife, more like lounging around all day without to doing housework while married to Jack, is now facing the rough waves of the workforce. Apparently, she's having a hard time getting scolded every day and working while crying. My in-laws apologized, saying they would educate our son and daughter to death from now on. True to their word, Matt and Holly are under strict supervision at their parents' house, helping with chores and farm work even on their days off. Matt and Holly are under strict supervision at their parents' house, helping with chores and farm work even on their days off. It's a bit pitiful that they have to work on their days off, isn't it? However, considering the amount of lounging around they did, it's only fair that they work harder now. I've moved to a new apartment and I am living happily with Maya. It seems that Maya is not particularly shocked by her father's absence. She seems to have given up on a father who valued his sister more than his own daughter. Matt has asked to see Maya, but of course, I have no intention of him allowing that. Maya continues with her piano lessons, and there's a recital coming up which I'm looking forward to. As long as Maya is happy attending school and her lessons, that's all I need.